For 10,000 years, the galaxy had known one absolute rule: never challenge the Varkari. They were not the largest species in existence, nor the most numerous, nor even the most technologically advanced. But none of that mattered, because the Varkari had something far more terrifying. They were predators, real predators. Their bodies were built for violence, their instincts were sharpened by generations of warfare, and their entire civilization had been shaped around one simple philosophy: anything weaker than you was prey, and anything stronger than you was a challenge waiting to be defeated. Their warships did not negotiate, their armies did not retreat. Their commanders believed mercy was a disease invented by inferior species, and for centuries, entire civilizations disappeared after making the mistake of resisting them. The Galactic Council had once counted more than 300 independent civilizations. After the Varkari expanded across the stars, fewer than 80 remained. Some surrendered before the first shot was fired. Others paid tribute. Others simply vanished. The Varkari called this order. The galaxy called it survival. Then, one ordinary day, a Varkari reconnaissance fleet entered a region of space that had been classified as empty for nearly 200 years. Their sensors detected artificial structures, energy signatures, orbital satellites, and something that made their commander pause: a planet surrounded by thousands of objects moving in coordinated formations. Commander Karvek stared at the tactical display. "Identify the species." His science officer hesitated. "Unknown." Karvek laughed. "Then identify their weakness." The answer never came. The Varkari had expected primitive colonies, perhaps a forgotten mining world, or an isolated civilization that had somehow escaped detection. Instead, they discovered Earth. Humanity had been watching the galaxy for decades. We had seen the Varkari destroy worlds. We had listened to their broadcasts. We had studied their tactics, their weapons, their psychology, their history, and most importantly, their mistakes. Humanity knew exactly what the Varkari were before the Varkari even knew humanity existed. But the Varkari made their first mistake by assuming that because Earth had remained quiet, Earth was weak. Their fleet moved into the solar system without requesting permission. 27 warships crossed the outer planetary boundary, weapons charged, shields active. Then they transmitted a single message: "Unknown civilization, you are entering Varkari-controlled space. Surrender your resources, submit your population to Varkari authority, and your world will be spared." Earth answered with 6 words: "You are not in Varkari space." Karvek stared at the message for several seconds, then he smiled. Finally, something interesting. He ordered the fleet forward. What happened next became known as the first human encounter, but historians would later say it was not really an encounter at all. It was a test. The Varkari launched 12 assault craft toward the nearest human orbital station, expecting the station to flee. It did not. Instead, the station opened fire with weapons the Varkari had never seen. Not conventional missiles, not energy cannons. Small autonomous interceptors appeared from hidden launch bays, moving in impossible patterns, changing direction faster than the Varkari targeting systems could predict. 6 Varkari ships lost their engines within 90 seconds. 3 more were blinded. The remaining ships retreated. Karvek couldn't understand it. His fleet had faced planetary defenses before. They had destroyed entire defense networks in minutes. But the humans were not fighting like a civilization protecting its territory. They were fighting like engineers solving a problem. Every Varkari tactic was analyzed, countered, and improved against. The Varkari adapted. Humanity adapted faster. Karvek ordered a full assault. The Varkari fleet surrounded Earth, positioning ships across every major orbital corridor. Their weapons could crack planetary shields. Their bombardment systems had destroyed fortified worlds before. The message came again: "Last warning." Earth replied, "We heard you the first time." Then the sky lit up. Varkari weapons slammed into Earth's defensive network. But humanity had spent decades preparing for exactly this moment. Satellites moved. Civilian spacecraft became decoys. Mining vessels released clouds of reflective debris. Old communication arrays suddenly became electronic warfare platforms. Even weather satellites were redirected to support targeting systems. The Varkari had expected a military. Instead, They encountered an entire civilization behaving like a military. Every human ship fought differently. Some attacked head-on, others disappeared into asteroid fields. Some intentionally exposed themselves just to lure Varkari ships into traps. Humanity had no single perfect weapon, but we had something the Varkari had forgotten existed: creativity. The Varkari believed war was about strength. Humans understood that war was about uncertainty. For every strategy the Varkari used, humans created 3 possibilities they had never considered. And then the Varkari made their second mistake. They attacked Earth itself. Thousands of warheads entered the atmosphere. Humanity watched the trajectories and realized there was no longer any reason to hold back. Across the solar system, hidden human fleets activated. Ships that had been disguised as cargo vessels, research platforms, mining stations, and even abandoned satellites suddenly revealed weapons. Mars launched interceptors. Lunar facilities opened missile silos. Ships emerged from the darkness beyond Neptune. The Varkari commander watched hundreds of human signatures appear on his display and whispered, "How long have they been preparing this?" His science officer answered, "We don't know." That answer frightened him more than any weapon. Because the Varkari had spent 10,000 years learning how to conquer civilizations, humanity had spent only a few decades learning how to survive among the stars. The difference was enormous. The Varkari fought because they believed themselves superior. Humans fought because we knew we could lose. That difference changed everything. Human ships began targeting Varkari communication relays rather than their strongest warships. Supply ships disappeared. Navigation systems malfunctioned. Fleet formations broke apart. Orders arrived minutes late, or not at all. The Varkari were still stronger individually, but their strength depended on coordination. Humanity attacked the coordination. Then something happened that no Varkari commander had ever experienced. A Varkari battleship surrendered. Its captain transmitted a message directly to Earth. "We request terms," humanity replied. "You are not being offered terms." Silence followed. Then the human transmission continued. "You attacked our home. You threatened our people. You assumed we would surrender because everyone else did. We are giving you one opportunity to leave." Karvek refused. He ordered the remaining fleet to destroy Earth. The final battle lasted 19 hours. By the end of it, the Varkari fleet had lost more than 80% of its ships. Humanity had lost thousands of lives and dozens of vessels. It was not an easy victory. It was not clean. There were burning cities, damaged orbital stations, shattered colonies, and families waiting for people who would never return. But humanity survived. And the Varkari learnt something that changed the galaxy forever. Humans were not apex predators because they were stronger than the Varkari. Humans were dangerous because we refused to accept the rules predators had created. The surviving Varkari ships fled beyond the edge of the solar system. They expected pursuit. None came. Earth simply watched them leave. For the first time in their history, the Varkari had encountered a civilization that did not want their territory, their resources, or their submission. Humanity wanted only one thing: to be left alone. But the galaxy had already noticed what happened. Within days, conquered worlds began receiving secret human transmissions. "The Varkari can be defeated." That sentence spread faster than any military signal in history. Rebellions erupted across Varkari territory. Prison worlds revolted. Occupied civilizations attacked garrisons. Varkari commanders suddenly faced enemies who no longer believed they were invincible. And humanity did something the Varkari never expected. We helped them. Human ships carried food to liberated worlds. Engineers repaired damaged infrastructure. Medical teams treated civilians. We shared defensive technology. We taught smaller civilizations how to build warning systems, how to coordinate resistance, and how to defend themselves. The Varkari had spent 10,000 years creating fear. Humanity spent 1 year creating hope, and hope proved far more difficult to destroy. Eventually, Commander Karvek stood before the Galactic Council, not as a conqueror, but as a representative of a wounded civilization. He looked across the chamber at species that had once trembled whenever the Varkari name was spoken. Then he looked toward the human delegation. "What are you?" he asked. The human ambassador paused before answering. "We're human." Karvek shook his head. "That isn't an explanation." The ambassador smiled slightly. "It is the only one you need, because humanity had never been the strongest species in the galaxy. We were not born with claws capable of tearing through armor. We did not have perfect reflexes or natural weapons. We did not evolve to dominate the stars. We evolved on a dangerous planet where survival depended on cooperation, adaptation, imagination, and the refusal to give up. The Varkari had spent 10,000 years becoming the perfect predators. Humanity had spent its entire existence becoming survivors. And when the predator finally met something that refused to become prey, the galaxy discovered a terrifying truth. The most dangerous species is not always the one with the sharpest teeth. Sometimes it is the one that keeps getting back up after the teeth have already bitten. The Varkari entered the solar system, believing they had found another weak civilization waiting to be conquered. Instead, they found humanity, and from that day forward, whenever young civilizations looked into the night sky and wondered whether the galaxy was dangerous, their elders gave them the same warning. If you ever encounter the humans, do not mistake their silence for weakness, do not mistake their kindness for surrender, and above all, never make the mistake the Varkari made. Because the galaxy already had predators. What it had never encountered before was a species that could survive them.